there is so much going on in this live broadcasting, and I have I can see all your comments down here, and to be able to there we are. We've got 36 watching now, and comments that are coming along, pouring down the stream. So, so last week I found it really, really difficult. I couldn't really read your comments, so I've made a little piece of film which I can now slot in halfway through, and which is a kind of review of all the. I'm looking at myself, not the camera. It's a review of all the artwork that's been posted for the Shoo Rayner Drawing Prize for August. So I will play that sort of halfway through, and that will give me time to read your comments. It's actually about 8 minutes, so I think that might have to become its own program, like I used to do. And I'll find new little things to slot in there, sort of shorter pieces, just to give me a breath to read all your comments. So what are we talking about today? Today I'm talking about drawing on the right side of the brain, this book here. And if you've not read it, a few people have asked me, is it worth getting? And it certainly is, I think. I discovered it very, very late. It was actually written in 1979. I wish that I'd come across it a lot earlier. And but I sort of found myself doing my own kind of researches into kind of brain science and stuff. I don't know, about 6 to 8 years ago or something. I suddenly realised that I think differently to other people. Maybe not to you, because you're, you're artists, and I'm sure you are visual thinkers as well. And I suddenly realised I was a visual thinker, and I kind of think very much in pictures. And I talk to people, and other people think in words. They just don't see pictures in their heads. And some people just see everything in maths. Some people see the world in dance movements, all sorts of different ways of seeing the world. And so I started looking into it, and I discovered all this business about the left and the right side of the brain. So here we are. Look, I've got my little brain here. I've got my little skull. Somebody told me it's a very flat face. They think it's probably Chinese, so it's made in China. So they think it's actually a Chinese kind of skull, Chinese person's skull. And look, I'm going to take the top off. And inside is revealed the brain. And the brain is very much split into two halves. And you have, now you see, because I'm so visual, I'm not very good at the words. So I've never been good at left and right. So that is the right side for me. And that is the left side of the brain. So that's how it would be. And the left side of the brain is very analytical. It deals with words and structure. And this is a real bossy boots. It's kind of alive most of the day. And this is kind of running your life. And the right side of your brain is kind of going, oh, look. And it's just kind of staring around. And in fact, what happens is that when you're conceived and you kind of start growing in your mother's tummy, the right side of the brain is actually kind of in charge and is most developed. And it hears all these gurgly noises, and it sort of hears your mother's voice and all sorts of things. And then when you're born, you kind of sort of just stare at the world and go, oh, isn't it beautiful? And there's my mummy and things. And you just take it all in with the right side of the brain. And then immediately you've sort of been born, the left side starts to take over. It's so dominant, and it starts wanting to put the world into structure. And when I discovered this kind of thing, and like a lot of people, you become very right-mindist, right-brainist, and you think, free rights for rights for right-minded people, and everybody should think with their right brain. But that isn't so, actually, I think, because I began to realise what you really want is to get a really nice balance, but to be able to zone into the left and zone into the right, and to get the best of both worlds. So what happens is the right side of your brain, oh, excuse me, I got a little itch. This is very unprofessional. The right side of your brain is taking everything in the whole time. And, you couldn't be analytical like that. My phone is beeping away. You couldn't be that analytical all the time, taking everything in. So it takes it in and stores it away. And in the meantime, your left brain is going blah, 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 and adding up, how much your shopping is, and, 2 plus 2 and all that kind of thing. And every now and then you might get a hunch or something. And what happens is that the right brain sort of puts things together and it goes, whoosh, and it sends it over to the left. And the left brain goes, aha, and starts organising. So this is where all your ideas come from on the right side, and it pushes it through to the left, and the left then organises it. So what you really want is to develop both sides. So, if you write and do some maths and scientific kind of stuff like that, then you will develop your right hand side. But at the same time, drawing is a really good thing, because it kind of gets you, I'll put my left brain away now, the right brain gets you into this kind of Zen mode. And if you start drawing, there are various things. I mean, if you drive a car, you'll know sometimes you drive a car and you arrive, you think, how did I get there? Which is just what Betty Edwards says in her book. And you think, how did I get here? And but you do. It's because you kind of switch off, but you're still working. And sometimes when you're in those kind of moods, walking, drawing, things like that, you kind of switch off and you go into this Zen mode, and suddenly all the answers come to you. And since I kind of did all this learning about the left and right, I've learned what is, particularly when I'm writing and I kind of I think I don't know where this story is going, I just pack up and I go for a walk, and I trust and I know that within almost half a mile, the idea will come to me, and then the rest of the walk, it will all kind of form, and I can come back and just carry on writing. And so sitting around getting frustrated is no good. Go and do something else. And drawing is really, really good for that. You just go off into this zone. So let me tell you about drawing on the right side of the brain. Now, if I go to change cameras, yes, there we go. And so this is the book here, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. It's quite a chunk of a book. And Betty Edwards was an art teacher, and then she's taught hundreds of people to draw. And what's really interesting is I find these kind of drawings here where she shows you people that 2 or 3 day courses, and they draw a picture of themselves. Can you see here this one? They're quite basic kind of drawings, and with a little bit of instruction, a little bit of showing you how to do something, and then they do these fantastic drawings within 2 or 3 days, which is a beginning. They kind of understand, and then you can move on and learn to draw more. There's quite a large section in the book all about the science of left and right brain. It's quite a big chunk at the beginning, which I found very, very interesting. One of the things she likes you to do is to draw upside down so that you're not worrying about what the picture is. You just draw the lines, and then when you turn it around, you'll be really amazed at how good you are, which is a really good thing. What else has she got? There are all sorts of exercises and things that she does, and she talks about. Now you see, this is live. I should have little bits of paper in here. I can't edit it out. And she talks about the plane, I think, which is really interesting. So she sort of advises you get yourself a piece of plastic, or you could use glass or something if you get somebody to put duct tape around the edges to make it safe. Now, am I going to be able to do this? I don't know. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw this. Or should I draw the skull? Maybe I should draw the skull. No, I'm going to draw this because it's more obvious. So this is my pencil sharpener, and I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put my piece of glass here, and I'm going to close one eye, and I'm going to go around the image of the pencil sharpener. And this was quite a revelation when I first did it. I thought, oh, I see. And I wish, I'd had this book when I was at art college or something, and had the time to really work on it. and I can see the shadow down here. And there we are. Can you see? That's a pretty good drawing. And but what's happened, what she's pointing out, is that this is the plane. This is what you're drawing on. So you're not drawing the thing that's over there. You're drawing this as if there's a piece of glass. And if you do this a few times, you'll kind of break through this mind barrier where you kind of see, this is where I'm drawing, not over there. I'm not drawing that. I'm drawing what I see in this plane, which I think is a very interesting idea. And if you use a whiteboard marker, it's even better, because you can erase all that off and start again. How are we doing? It's only 15:15. I feel like I've been talking for hours. So, what else? And she says to use. I mean, there's all sorts of things she's teaching you here, but I'm trying to find. She shows you about using a pen for. You've seen an artist, doing this and doing that, and when I do that, you hold your hand out at the same distance, and you kind of judge the heights of things like that. But also you can move your thumb there to kind of get the angles from vertical as well, and then you put that down on your paper to work it out. And I'm trying to find. I am trying to find. There's the other thing, which I think for people who are starting out, it's very useful. She talks about white space and things like that. It's getting your mind to see things differently, is what it is. And she talks about, growing up, how your mind develops as an artist. No, I can't find it. But she also talks about getting a piece of cardboard, and cutting little holes out of it, and framing the picture that you want to use. So you would actually, you could get your piece of perspex and draw the square on, and then you can frame where you want to draw it. I will do that skull now, like that. So there's all these really helpful tips. There's a bit of shadow there, a bit of shadow there. So, by having a frame around it, you can plan where it is that you want to draw the picture and how you want it to fit, if that makes any sense at all. So, if you've ever thought about getting that book, I can thoroughly recommend it. And I will also say about. I just had a panic then because I thought, is the microphone on? And it this is where I need an assistant. So we got 62 watching. Hello to everybody who's just joined. So yes, I can recommend this book, and there is. I think I don't know how much is it. What am I trying to say? This is £14.99, which is an expensive book, but you need to invest in in your business. If you're a business and you want to move forward, you go and buy a new machine or something. Books and things like that to artists are investing in your business, in your trade, in your hobby or whatever it is. But if you want to get better, you've got to put something in, if that makes any kind of sense at all. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I am going to run my beach review, and I'm going to look at all your where are we now? Wait, let me get back here. Here I am. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this little piece of film, and this is also experimental to see how it works, because I don't know how it will upload at all. So this is me kind of reviewing all the fantastic drawings that have been put up on the Google Plus page for the Shoo Rayner Drawing Prize this month. So have a look. Here we are with a first look at drawings that you have posted on the Your Shoo Rayner Drawings community page on Google+. That's all you have to do is follow the links and join, and you can post your drawings. The first drawings that went up were by Tony Fowles and Chris Wells, and these have both got the seaside buckets in there, and adding these extra things you see. And I think I did a deck chair on Draw Stuff Real Easy, so it's kind of adding extra things in, which is what I want to see. And Tina Swelt, that's really bright, isn't it? That's really nice and clear and crisp and seasidey. Now you see, this is fun, isn't it? Bigger the better. This is Olaf Green Jensen anyway, and it's kind of, I think this is kind of what I'm interested in seeing, you know, little extra things. And look here, look, here's Marko Zečević, is it? Here's my summer drawing, hope you like it. A little dog wagging his tail, he's adding, but there's the bucket and the spade, you see, so it's, you're getting the idea. And then we went on to the beach house, didn't we? This is Mason Ellis. And now I'm not being critical, I'm just saying, if you wanted to have the light there, then that's fine, but if you wanted it right above the door, you need to draw a line from that point down to the middle of the door, and so that part should be over there. But if you wanted the light there in the first place, then that is fine. So I'm not being hypocritical, I'm just pointing out little things as I go. I really like these are really, really solid. Oh, there's a really solid shape. And again, there's the bucket and spade, and here's the bucket and spade up here as well. There's a much softer pencil sketch. Everything is so different, isn't it? It's really interesting. And here we have, oh, now can I zoom in on this? Yeah, there we go. And I think we can't quite see the whole of it. There's an awful lot going on here. There's even Doctor Who's police box down there. And here we are, David Wendell. And I really like this. Has got this. It's got a kind of a north coast of Denmark look about it. I don't know why. And now this here is very definitely going on a kind of a perspective plane, and you can see it's fitting on there, whereas this is going on a different plane completely. And so if you want them to be the same, then you've got to use the same vanishing points, but because you're not using the same vanishing points, it looks like it's all kind of fallen over, which adds to the charm of it. So I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, I'm just sort of saying, you know, this is the way perspective works. So you can kind of distort perspective and sort of make it look like it's kind of, because you've got the bits on the side here, it looks like it's kind of fallen off the boardwalk. Although it's kind of old over there, and I would myself make this just slightly more raggedy along there, I think. But you say it's a rough. And here we have Nick Coffey. I really like this. It's really bright and cheerful, isn't it? And just kind of, you look very confident handling the watercolour there as well. Marty Daly inspired Seahorse. That's great. And they haven't got any watercolours because they have no watercolour paints. So I hope they're going out to get some. And TJ Lev, or is that Chia? I don't know. It could be TJ or it could be Chia. Anyway, here we have another sandcastle, and there's really bright colours in the sky. Lovely sunset going on there. That's great. And Miss Beth, sketching Shoo Rayner while watching his YouTube channel. Can't help but be inspired from this Wednesday drawing show. First time using watercolours. It was fun. That's very good for your first time using watercolours. Skin tones is tough. Yes, it is. Practice, practice, practice. And Nick Greenaway. This is very funny. I don't know if we can zoom in. You can just see. Look, you can see these knobbly knees. So you've got the beach hut. Everybody's changing. And you're seeing their knobbly knees, and this one looks like they need to shave, I think. Do you shave your knees? I don't know. Nick Coffey also did a seahorse. It looks like it lives on a coral reef. Maybe it's done on his way to the Octopus's garden. Got carried away with this, and pleased they did. Yeah, I'm glad too. I love all those colours. It's great. Marko Zečević. Need to say, supposed to do a few drawings regarding the seaside. Thinking about making a children's book with these characters. Great. This is my seaside holiday painting with a cute pet-friendly theme. Two mischievous dogs having fun in the sun, playing around in the sand. I just realised, look, there's the umbrella. And did I mention Chris Wells' drawing? I don't think I did, because I was thinking about the umbrella. Umbrellas are really, really difficult, aren't they? I think I should do an umbrella. And Okay, there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I've been reading I've been reading the comments and I've obviously got lots of technical issues. It's very, very weird. You would think that you just, have a camera and off it goes, but you have to associate a microphone with the camera, and I thought I'd got all that done. I had it done all fine last week. I hope this is now syncing. Let me know if it is syncing now. That you should be able to see me talking now. Now we've got Kinetic PSR. I made an August by the Seaside drawing, but it turned out horrible. I'm going to try later today. Good. And that's become a challenge for me. I'm not giving up without a fight. Well, that's what you need to do. Is if you get it wrong, you just do it again. So anyway, it seems to be everybody is mostly concerned with how to spell school and library. And just in case is chatting away, saying I've got more books behind me than he has in his school library. And just in case is the reason that I started doing the money tree to explain to him that, artists are allowed to make a living. And I don't know what it is. People get this idea that, you're just lucky to be an artist. You must do it for free. But you don't say that to a plumber. Hey, you're really lucky to be a plumber. Come and plumb my house for free because you really want to do it. Why? Why are artists supposed to starve? I think that is all completely wrong. And so I did the money tree. Have you seen that? I nearly finished the money tree. I got 2 more to go. In fact, so I've got a spare one, which I think I'm going to do myself. So I've nearly finished doing that. And I did that to show Justin that you can just have an idea and, turn it into money. And then somebody comes up saying, oh, so which charity are you giving the money to? I said, why? Why can't I have the money? Why can't I be paid for the work that I do? I have spent so much time on this. Minimum wage doesn't come anywhere near it. So there we go. What else have we got? Practice make blah, 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 blah. This is very, 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 very difficult. So I have got a lot of books behind me, but I have been collecting them for a very, very long time. A lot of these books I have bought very, very cheaply at Help the Aged shops, at charity stores and things like that. I buy books cheap wherever I go. If you go to the library, you'll often see they're selling them off at the end. They say, here, fill a bag. They're trying to get rid of them. So if you want books, if your school library has not got enough books, start baking cakes, sell the cakes, earn some money, and buy books for your school library, okay? What have we got? Hey, Marcelo Miguel Bazan. Hello, Shoo. As you can see, you're watching me instead of the football match, because my video is more useful than a match narrated in Spanish. Thanks, and keep doing this. Practice makes perfect. So this is an English lesson as well. So, is the sound coming through yet? I don't know. It's all still out of sync. I tell you what I could do. I am going to try something. I'm just going to switch the stream off for a minute and see what happens. I'll be back in 5 seconds. What happened? Buffering, Ionos. Am I back? Ah. I have no idea what's happening. Anyway, I just see just in case, says he's seen an old picture of me, and guess what? I had a unibrow. Do I shave it? No, I pluck it. Okay. And it's very interesting how people treat you differently. which just shows you how much I can hear myself talking. I've got to switch that off. It just shows you how shallow people are, isn't it? It's not in sync. Oh dear. There we go. Now, am I in sync now? I've got Diane FV says we're down to 16 watching. So obviously this has not gone very well. And I did a brow waxing tutorial just a few weeks ago. Did I actually? I can't remember. Did I really? It's the sort of thing I would have done. I'm just checking whether I did or not. And if I did, I'll send you the link. Here we are, brow. Eyebrow. Let me see. Yes. Are they? Which was that one? Let me see. Yes. No, because I get my eyebrows cut at the hairdressers. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to send that to you now. Here you are. You can... Oh, can't contain links. I'm sorry. I will have to put the links in later. But if you go to the Shoo Rayner live channel, you will see that. Oh, now I can't do... Oh, okay. If you go to the Shoo Rayner live channel, you will see me having my eyebrows shaved. I was talking about earning money as an artist. It means that you need to spend time with marketing and propagation. How much time percentage do you spend on this and how much on drawing? Adela Moratchova. I'm sorry if I don't get your voice right, name right. I spend an awful lot of time doing this. And why do I do this? I see this as kind of marketing. And I don't know where this is going, really. You know, sometimes I think, why do I do all these videos? And I really don't know. But I know it's going to go somewhere eventually. There's a reason for doing it. Something drives me on. When I'm not doing the videos, then I spend quite a lot of time visiting schools. And sort of talking about my work and things like that. So that's marketing, that's promotion. I suppose actually in a day I'm lucky to spend an hour drawing, I should think, until I'm finally sort of doing a book, and then I sort of sit down and then maybe I'm doing 4 or 5 hours pretty solid in a day. But the rest of the day is all email, answering comments on YouTube and Twitter, and it's you don't get time to draw. So there we go. We got people watching now. We got 70 watching. I don't know if my lip sync is back now. Still. Oh, what's that? Have I ever tried digital art? Mr. Sandman 98 asks, which has been flagged as spam for some reason. Why should that be flagged? So I'll put not spam. Have I ever tried digital art? Yes. I got really into Flash very early on. In fact, before it was Flash, it was called Super Splash or something like that. I got into it very, very early, and then Macromedia bought them out. Then Adobe bought Macromedia, so I got very into Flash and doing Flash animations, and then I found animating very, very boring. So then I noticed if I went up there and I went and clicked this and clicked that, I could export the image on the screen as a JPEG, and then let me go and find you something. Let me find. Oh, here we are. You can have the. This is the Korean edition. That I discovered you could export Flash as a JPEG, And so I started doing artwork on Flash because I got so used to drawing it with Flash. And Flash is really good because I use my tablet and pen. And so I did all these on Flash, but they're exported as JPEGs and put into the books that way. So yes, I have done digital art this way, and I use Photoshop all the time for tweaking and twidging and adding. There was another actually very early on. Let me find for instance, the Dark Claw series I did. So this was, I'm just going to change to, I'll change to this camera here, and then I can zoom this one in as well. Zoom, 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 zoom. There we are. So here I used to do, so when was this? This was back in 2002 or something. And I would paint the pictures and scan them in, then I would do all these little whooshes and zooms. And I did a lot of, see if I can find something here. For instance here, so there's a lot of replicating and fading and blurring and stuff like that in the background. So I used to use Photoshop, but I don't anymore. I just use Photoshop for cleaning up really now. So that's the nearest I get to digital art. I find digital art very boring. I'm sad to say. And I did a whole animation once. Spent 3 months. I wrote the animation, planned it, everything. I was commissioned to do it, and I spent 3 months doing about sitting there 10-12 hours a day, going backwards and forwards, and it's mindless. And at the end of it, I've got nothing to show. There's a DVD. I don't know if anybody's ever going to look at it. And it just felt like 3 months of my life completely wasted. I got paid, but I vowed never to do that again. So I find animation and digital art, it's there's nothing to hold, there's nothing to show for, in real life, and I'm not ready yet to become a digital entity. I'm still a human being. What else have we got here? Justin K says, I'd make a great dad, even if you have a unibrow or not. Thank you very much. I'm sure my children wouldn't agree. Keep talking about blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to find things. Really appreciate your time and videos. What did we got? It's going so very fast. Paper Mango, I haven't made a drawing video in over 5 months now. I don't know why. I sort of lost the motivation to draw. When I see my friends draw, I want to compete with them, but I still don't draw. Making videos is really, really hard work, and any number of times people in the comments saying, "Oh, I really love what you're doing, and I want to do the same." And I understand, because I remember when I first saw Mark Crilly, I thought, yes, I could do that. And to keep going is really, really hard. And I think one of the things that's difficult is to come up with new ideas each week, 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes it comes to Monday morning and I don't know what video I'm putting up tonight, and then suddenly something will come. It's like I was saying earlier with the right side of the brain. Maybe I'll go for a walk or something, do something different, and then the idea comes. And off I go and do that. Just in case, can you print your art? Yes, you can, but it's not the same. Sorry. Are any of my, Mr. Sandman 98, is any of my children interested in art like you? Well, my daughter she's done furniture restoration, which is kind of artistic, I suppose, but she's not very interested in drawing. And my son used to draw like mad as a child, and he did these fantastic drawings, and he got to about 16 and he started doing amazing cartoons, really funny cartoons, and then he started making them in cards, and he used to sell them down at the local bookshop. And then suddenly one day that was it, didn't want to do it anymore. So I don't know why. And I'm trying to get rid of something on the screen here. So there we are. Something paper making. It is. People don't understand how much work I put into it. There we are. Yes. No. And making videos, it's a huge amount of work. It really is. So if you've, I was saying, very often people say, I want to do what you do, and come and have a look at my videos, and I go and look at their video, and I think, there's one video, and I go and look again, and then three days later you might find they done one a day, and then it's one every other day, and then one a week, and after a month there aren't any more videos. So no, I don't know Mark Crilly. Who's saying that, Justin? No, I don't know Mark Crilly, but when I first saw him, that's when I realised that this is what I wanted to do. But I think that's the other thing, is that Mark Crilly is very much manga. He does what he does, and I do what I do, and there's no point in me trying to be Mark Crilly. So that's the other thing. If you want to set up your own video channel, there's no point in copying someone else. You need to bring your own kind of thing to it. So it's going to be very interesting reading all of these things. So no, I'm not going to do a house tour. Have I legally changed my name to Shoo? Yes, I have. In fact, I've actually got the documents. Well, photocopy. Oh no, where did I see them? No, I haven't. Because I had to take photocopies with me recently. And here we are. That's a photocopy of my change of name deed. So yes, I went to it must have been 20 years ago or something. It just got very confusing because I've always been called Shoo, and so I went to a solicitor, advocate, lawyer, whatever you call them, and changed my name. So that's easy. Now, Mr. Sandman 98 has been spammed again. Why? Let's see. Can we watch the animation you made? No, I haven't got a copy of it. Why is Mr. Sandman being spammed? Is it flagged as spam all the time? I'm planning on studying computer design and animation. Do you think that it would help improve my art? I'm not sure what. You're planning on studying computer design and animation, then no, I'm not saying don't do that, but I think if you draw on paper, I think it helps as well. If you keep a sketchbook of ideas, I think that there is something. It's this right brain, left brain thing. There is something that happens. You get a pencil and a piece of paper, and there's this direct connection down your arm between your brain, which goes down to the end of the pencil, and you see it happening there. Something happens, and your ideas come out onto that piece of paper. And I don't think they happen quite the same way digitally. I know certainly when I'm writing stories, then I do a lot of work in Sketchbook beforehand, and I get it all planned, and then I kind of write on the screen, which I suppose is kind of digital. And then I can move everything around, but I've got it all planned out before, and it's there on paper in front of me. It's just different. It's different. Marcelo Miguel Bazan, when I used to go to the atelier to paint, my teacher used to tell me, if you pretend to make a perfect copy of what you see, don't paint, take a photograph. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And I think that's kind of another thing I want to do kind of with this channel is, if you want to take a really, really perfect photograph, do a perfect image or something, then take a photograph. Is what a camera is for. And I'm sure if Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci had been around now, they would be movie directors. They wouldn't be wasting their time drawing because they could work it all out on film. I'm sure that's what they would be doing. So drawing doesn't have to look like a photograph. And I think when the camera came along, it's kind of liberated art. If you look at the timing of it, up until the camera really came in, you know, art was very photographic. It was very representational. As soon as the camera came in, artists went, we don't have to do this stuff anymore. We can, you know, paint splodges and whatever. And so art completely changed thereafter. And drawing does not have to look like a photograph. You know, cartoons are a drawing, you know, whatever. So what I'm planning. Now I'm kind of changing the way this channel is going. I've got a couple of people lined up. I'm going to interview. Who kind of draw in different ways, and I'm going to sort of introduce them to you and show you different ways of drawing and different ways, and talk to people about how they see drawing, so that you get out of your mind that a drawing has to look like the thing that you're drawing. It's good that you can look at it and go, yes, that's a pencil sharpener, but it doesn't have to look like a photograph of a pencil sharpener. Does that make sense? Now, there was something here. Freddie Krepp says, I've done my summer job. I worked for a theatre painting massive backdrops for 12 other people. Last year I worked for 2 theatres, but I decided to relax a little this summer. That's a really good thing. Painting big. There are times I think I need to put a huge sheet of paper up here and do sort of a gigantic drawing, and not because I usually do these tiny little drawings for the camera. So maybe I should try and do something like I do an all-day live stream of drawing something. How about that? That'd be interesting. So we got more things. Mark North. Do I know Quentin Blake, and if so, any chance you'd interview him for your channel? Well, I met him a couple of times. I don't think he will remember me particularly. He meets millions of people, I think, but he's wonderful. I don't know. I could try, and you know, and I'm putting my sights high for people I would like to talk to. Have I ever visited the Metropolitan Museum? Is that the one in New York? Yes, I have. That was fabulous. And I really loved that. The particular thing I loved there was cowboy paintings, which is cowboy paintings. But of course, it was in America, and you know, we don't have cowboys over here. But to see these amazing cowboy paintings, I thought it's art. It's brilliant. Have I visited the Louvre? Yes, I have as well. Yes, which is a fantastic place. Did I by any chance take GCSE art? If so, what kind of things did I cover? I'm taking art. Not very sure what to expect. Well, when I did it, it was a very, very long time ago. And I did it in 6 months. I got kicked out of maths. And it was GCSE O-levels in those days. And basically, I think we actually sort of had an exam where we just came in and did a painting. But we kind of we were told what it was going to be, so we went off and practiced and did research and stuff like that. And I remember doing a painting of a kind of a derelict building. And then I think we had to do a still life and everything like that. I tell you the truth, I don't know what to expect these days, but I know you can expect a lot more written work in art exams these days. What else have we got? How are we doing? Oh God, image of British cowboys. Mara Gonzalez, yes. What's the largest accomplishment you ever made, in your opinion? Mr. Sandman 98. I have. Oh, that's really difficult. I think staying sane, probably. and I think I'm actually probably quite serious about that. Riding sheep across the countryside. Yes. What inspired me to draw and create art? Sweet and Candy says, good question. I don't know. I think when I really got going, it was teachers basically. I had one fantastic teacher when I was about 18 who really showed me how to draw, and then another brilliant teacher then when I was at college, and I really didn't draw much. I did anything I could but not draw. When I was at college, and it was an illustration course which required a lot of drawing. And then in our final year, third year, we had a new teacher called Christopher Core, And he just, well, for a start, he made me go and get a pair of glasses. We went to a place called Tattershall's Bloodstock Sales in Newmarket, where they sell racehorses. And so we were all sitting there watching them auctioning these racehorses, and the Queen was there that day. She was selling and buying horses, and so it was all a big event. And I was sitting next to Chris, and we were drawing all these horses coming in and everything going on. And then I said to him, "Can you see what that sign says over there?" And he looked at me. He said, "Can't you?" I said, "No." And he took his glasses off and he said, "Here, try these." And it was like, oh my Lord. So that was a huge effect. So I went off and got glasses, and suddenly I could see. That helped. But he had this really interesting way of drawing, and he certainly didn't look like a photograph. And I think suddenly he made me realise it doesn't have to look like a photograph. And even still, I kind of find myself tightening up, and you have to kind of relax and kind of not draw like let it flow freely. So what was the question there? Who else inspired me? And then I did a video a couple of weeks ago about Where the Wild Things Are, the book. When I found that book, it was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And then I knew what I wanted to do, and now I've written 180 children's books and illustrated them, and I don't know, I've illustrated sort of 70 or 80 more for other authors. So I've done an awful lot of books, and so I think one of the reasons I started these videos is just to be a bit different, I think. So let me have a look. I should like to ask you if you found something in that book by Betty Edwards as an experienced illustrator hadn't realised or used deliberately before. Yeah, I think that idea of the plane, the having this piece of plastic and getting the idea of that's what you're drawing here, you're not drawing there. I think that was a real revelation to me. I hadn't thought of that before, and nobody had ever suggested it to me before. So that was really, really good. And also I think all the left brain, right brain thing, as I was reading the book, it was kind of confirming everything that I'd worked out and discovered myself. And it was like, I understand myself so much more now. And it allowed me to relax and sort of use my right side of my brain properly. Does that make sense? Laura Mary Alice, my biggest issue creating art is feeling like I'm creating something original. I always feel like I'm drawing too much from other artists. Do you have any tips for creating original art? There is no such thing as original art. Okay? We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and and as art progresses, it gets harder and harder to be original because you've seen all the stuff that's happened before and it's been done. So your Matisse and stuff like that. I'm going to see the Matisse exhibition this week. I'm really looking forward to that with all the cutouts. And but you go along and just take it in, copy it, get a piece of paper, cut things out, do it. But it all goes into the right side of the brain, you see. And then if you relax about it, don't worry about making original art, then you will. It's very, very, very strange. It's the left brain, right brain thing. So take it all in with your right side of the brain and trust it to kind of work away. And when you get that little kind of, hey, I've just had an idea, kind of ding, trust it and follow it. Because that's how the left and right brain work. So, and don't worry about being original. Just keep doing the work and you will become original. Because eventually you will come out in your work. Does that make sense? What's my favourite animal to draw? Steve Camo is a cat. Mr. Sandman, I keep having problems with proportions. Well, here, look, do that. Try that. The old-fashioned thing of working out the proportions. And if you're working from photographs, put a piece of tracing paper over it and kind of work it out. And even you're not working from photographs, get some photographs and tracing paper over the top and just draw the proportions so that you kind of understand the proportions. You'll find children have got sort of really tall forehead. So I'm looking in the mirror, looking at myself. So my eyes are not. I suppose it's all a bit like that's about midway. Whereas children will have their eyes on that level. So it's kind of working out different proportions for things like that. So it's going to be a couple more minutes, and I'm going to be saying goodbye. So what have we got? Remember me from the Beatrix Potter question? Yes. Hi, David James Binns. Yes. His comments. I have always been a doodler, and lately I've heard that helps you focus what you do. What do I do to help me focus? Doodling is absolutely brilliant. That's what Zentangling is all about. And doodling, the Zentangle thing, you've got these kind of prescribed kind of patterns and things like that. So you kind of make shapes and then you kind of fill them in with pattern, and that will just take you into that zone. And when you say focus, it's that going into the right side of the brain. And when you do that kind of doodling or drawing or whatever, the left brain just starts to shut down, and all that chatter that's going on all day long, it just calms down, and then you can go into this zone, and you can sort out all your problems while you're there, because all the answers are there, just waiting for you to just calm down and listen to them. So it's all a bit spiritual, isn't it? Sweeter Than Candy. Hi, I struggle with a human face, figure and body. Do you think one of those wooden person things would help? Yes, absolutely. I've got one. Oh, I've got two of them here. I've got two of them here, and they're in love reading a book. So, yeah. I think anything that helps. But you can always. I've got a mirror. I've got a mirror in my studio. If everybody think, how does that work? I go in front of the mirror and I'm going to make these weird shapes. Ask your friends to pose for you. They'll probably be quite pleased if you give them the drawing afterwards or a photocopy. Then they'll be quite pleased. So there's nothing quite like drawing from life. So get your friends to pose. Why did I decide to be an illustrator? Steve Camo. Why did I decide to become an illustrator? That's a very, very good question. Because I'm a storyteller. Abstract artists paint abstract art. Sort of lettering. People do lettering. Illustrators tell stories with pictures. And that's what I do. I've always liked telling stories. I've always liked reading stories. I've always liked listening to stories. So as soon as I start drawing, I want to tell stories with them. And in fact, when I left art college, I went off then looking for work, and I got my portfolio. I went to an outfit called the Radio Times, who give you all the TV listings. And they were the place to be seen in those days. They used to have an awful lot of illustration, and then they suddenly changed to photographs, which is a real shame. But I went there because I thought I really want to get my artwork in the Radio Times, and they looked at my folder and said, "No, thank you, you're not editorial," and sent me on my way. And they took about 10 seconds to look at my folder. And I'd gone all the way. So anyway, I just got to the door and I said, "What do you mean, editorial?" They said, "Come back." And they spent about 20 minutes going through my folder. They were really good. And they said, "You're a storyteller. Every time you draw a picture, you want to turn the page and see what happens." Whereas an editorial picture is slam, bam, tells the story there and then. And they said, "You're a book illustrator." They said, "Don't waste your time with us. Go and work for books." And so that's when I knew I was a book illustrator. It's because I like telling stories, and That's what I do. So it's 9 o'clock. And how do I overcome the fear that appears before drawing the first line? Just get a pen, just make a line, just do it. Okay. So I am now going to say goodbye. I hope the audio caught up in the end. And so I think I'm now going to say goodbye. And I've actually got an outro. So I'm going to say goodbye live and go into my outro. No. It was a good try, wasn't it? Try this one. Bye-bye. I'm going to say goodbye. And, well, I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, make sure you are subscribed to Shoo Rayner Drawing for more live shows next week and the weeks after. And there are new drawing videos every Monday and Friday. If you want to know what to do now, you go and have a look at my video, How to Solve Creative Block. That's a bit right, left brain. Or have a go at the mystery drawing. And you can always go and visit my website, shooraynerdrawing.com. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Keep drawing. Practice. And I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.